Hey, welcome back in today's video. Happy Wednesday. Today we're talking about Gabbie Hanna. She has recently been exposed by her sister Theresa for stealing artwork from her sisters and using it to her own benefit. We're going to talk about this today, and we're also going to look at the dynamics between her and her sister. There's some issues going on. But first, if you're unfamiliar, Gabbie Hanna is a YouTuber with over 5.69 million subscribers who's losing subscribers by the day. It looks like the daily average is negative 1,000, weekly 7,000, last 30 days, negative 30,000. Of course, this is for very good reason. I've been covering these types of situations over the last few weeks. One where she's driving and making videos with her phone, not looking at the road. Another one where she was caught trying to get kids' private emails and so she could sue them, using her mental health as a shield, and so much more. Today's situation involves her sister Theresa, who recently came out exposing Gabbie Hanna for literally stealing her artwork. And stealing an artist's work online is a huge no-no. This is something that you do not do, because when you make art, you put time and energy into it. It's usually something that you really care a lot about, so thievery is not welcomed. Gabbie Hanna has written 2 poetry books, one called Adolescence and another one called Dandelion. I'm not going to comment too much on the poetry and its level of professionalism. That's not my place. I'm just going to say that it's not my type of poetry. Iron. When I was young, my mom used to check if the iron was hot by touching it. And I don't know. I just feel like there's a metaphor in there somewhere. Some of the illustrations in this book were actually drawn by her sister Theresa and Monica, but they received absolutely no credit. This is one illustration. You might remember the fly picture, although this picture was taken and redrawn by Gabbie Hanna, and for this to happen, she would have had to trace it. So we have not just art thieving, but tracing. Theresa Tweets, good thing you traced this and made it good enough for the book, you liar. So you can see the differences here. There's really not much. There's a little bit more space in the eye. I don't really understand why one would want to trace this. They both look very similar. They both look unique. But again, Gabbie Hanna took credit for this herself. Theresa went on Twitter to explain the full situation within detail. I'm going to read that to you. Gabbie threatened litigation against me as well not long after my son was born, and told me that I'd be forced to appear in Los Angeles for court appearance, knowing full well that I was still healing and nursing after a traumatic birth experience and that I was not able to afford a flight ticket. It started when Gabbie asked me to do some Shel Silverstein type illustrations for Adolescence, her first poetry book. So I happily obliged and wanted to contribute. She ultimately used one of my works, The Fly, and another concept piece for an illustration that she reconfigured as her own. I gave her permission to use them, but I thought at the same time that she would give me credit for my work, as she knows how important my art is to me and because I am her sister. So the book comes out and became a New York Times bestseller. Sometime after I texted her and said that I was really bothered and I was extremely hurt that I wasn't credited for my work, and on top of that, the book had become accoladed, and I have to this day never received so much as a verbal thank you or a red cent for my contributions that I did. However, that Christmas, in all seriousness, I did receive my very own copy from Gabbie from the goodness of her heart. Initially, she was going to deny I did the work, but I know her, so I posted the illustrations on my Instagram before the book came out. So certainly the first and only that I've ever heard, and also at the time asked me to illustrate for her second book, and that she was going to credit me for work done in that one. I agreed. I'm not sure that she did that or not, because I haven't seen it yet and I don't really care to. Long story short, anyone who owns a copy of Adolescence owns copies of mine and my siblings' art with Gabbie's name slapped all on it, when not all of it is hers. So again, another deception in a long line of so many. My actual first thoughts on this was she gave her a copy of this book, Adolescence, that had her art in it that she took credit for out of the kindness of her heart for Christmas. I wonder if that was sarcasm, because that is not something that someone would do out of the kindness of their heart. In fact, it would be more of something somebody would do if they wanted to rub something in their face. So at this point, we're going to get a little bit into the dysfunction that there appears to be within this sister dynamic. In this next receipt I'm about to show you, she's saying that a public apology, well, it has to happen. So again, I was contacted by one of 3 adult enablers in the family. My sister isn't even allowed back at this house because last time she threw a glass against the wall in a psychotic fit and they threw her out. I'm not going to stop until I get a public apology in recognition for my work. And then another 2 of the sisters, Cecilia and Monica, speak out saying that Theresa is a terrible person. This is what they had to say. What's sad is that people in her inner circle actually don't talk to Theresa anymore. We don't speak out because she's family, and family doesn't do that to each other. Love for family siblings should come first before all else. It's a shame some people can't just be happy with their own siblings' successes. Just remember, there is more than one side to every story, and some people will do literally anything for attention and to bring someone else down. Well, that's kind of weird to me because in the same sentence that they say that family doesn't do stuff like this and say stuff like this publicly, we have here this person actually doing that. And I do want to say that there's a difference in things like this, whether it's family or not. There's a difference between like if it's your brother or if it's your sister, but then also if that brother or sister is a friend to you. There is a difference. Just because they share blood with you doesn't mean that you should tolerate any type of toxic behavior that's bad for your own mental health. Cecilia says, just know there's a lot you guys don't know, and I'm not going to throw any of my family under the bus, even when they're not giving the same treatment. I could share all the reasons why we don't speak to her, but I'm keeping family matters private. I'm not hashing out family drama. And again, this is a reflection of the other one where they say, well, I'm not going to talk about this publicly, and then only talk about this publicly. And then while all this is going on, a random alt count appears, and it appears to be that it could possibly be Gabbie herself, or possibly one of the other sisters. This is how that goes. I'm going to have to block a couple words here because if you say these types of words, then YouTube will suppress the video. That's just how it works here. So maybe because her sister in question was a person that hurts other people, stay in your own lane, stupid. The user says, how do you know that the sister was a person that hurts other people? Because Gabbie told you? I can't believe anything that she says. So you wouldn't believe blank just because you don't like them. Sounds like a blank apologist to me. Theresa says, is that you, Gabbie? And then they reply with, wait, I totally didn't realize the felon in question was in this thread. Well, anyways, please find the nearest bridge. There's definitely some animosity here. Too much animosity for me to believe that this is just a random user. This definitely has to be somebody that's personally affected. These are things that you just don't say to like a random person, you know, in this regard, the way it unfolded. You're going to get people on Twitter that are going to come at you like that, but you can see that something was a little bit connected closer here. But if this was Gabbie or one of her other sisters, to say something like this to your family is point case an example why you don't need these type of toxic people in your life. After Theresa called this out as Gabbie, they deleted their comments. So I actually don't know the dynamic between what's going on in this family, but it seems like there is something that needs to be worked out, and I got to be cautious what I say here because the sisters are attacking other creators that speak on these types of situations. So just know that my purpose here is to report this to my viewers, and I don't mean any ill will towards you guys, but I can only speak on the stuff that I have here to present. So that being said, Theresa goes on to say more about the character of her sister Gabbie. So it was 9/17. John and I had just found out that we're going to have Asher, and I didn't want to overshadow Gabbie's big day with the publishing book signing, and I still had to endure the pain of watching her sign books with my work in it while being sick. That's what the F sisters do. Born 5/28/18. Congratulations for the successful birth. Again, I want to say this is not what you do. This, you have to, and it's difficult. This is easier said than done, but you have to create proper boundaries for yourself to protect your own mental health. If there was something if somebody crossed your boundary in this way and it was hurting you on the inside, you need to say what this is. And if they continue to cross your boundaries, you need to exit stage left so you can avoid these types of situations because it only get worse. She then talks about how Gabbie spent a whole $35 on her first and only child, and then went further on Instagram talking about how Gabbie bragged about making $40,000 from this book, and did this for 3 years and went half on a $70 baby shower gift for her son. She goes on to say that Gabbie's not allowed to be around her family because of her sick behavior. Said when her baby was an infant, she tried to warn him about how crazy her sister was and was trying to break up her family. You know, I wish I could feel like I'm surprised that Gabbie Hanna wouldn't really be trying to talk to an infant like this, but she did sneak into some of her ex-Patreon's Discord channel servers just to try to scare them with a lawsuit. And these were kids that she did this to. So this is the type of person that we are dealing with. But she did credit her sister in the second book, Dandelion. This is what her sister has to say.
I was wrong. Gabbie did credit me for my work, and it's found in the second book, her second book, called Dandelion. I just found that out this morning, and this is what she wrote. I never properly thanked my sisters, Theresa and Monica, for contributing an illustration each in my last book. Theresa drew flies, Monica drew dollhouse. I'm so happy I was able to have you be a part of something that was so heavily centered around an experience that only we understand. You both have always inspired me in different ways. In your different forms of artistry, and your artwork was a beautiful contribution to adolescence. So she did. And I'm happy about that. I do wish it would have been in the first book, of course, because I don't think a lot of people noticed in the second book because of how many people now are just recognizing that it's mine. But I just wanted to come on and clear up that she did thank me for my work. It was in the second book called Dandelion, and I appreciate it.
She tweeted the page, if you guys want to read it right here. One user says, credit in the second book for work done in the first book, and only doing it after threats of litigation doesn't sound like proper credit to me. She already made money off the first one without telling people some art wasn't hers. Your feelings are valid. It feels like that acknowledgement was thrown in after as an afterthought for a legal purpose. If Gabbie meant it, she'd have contacted you and wouldn't have threatened to sue you. You have every right to want proper credit for the work done. This isn't it. And I feel the same way. I mean, obviously, clearly, probably being a sibling and not understanding the dynamics of a creator and how the internet works and stuff like that, and how they sometimes, especially Gabbie Hanna, gets cornered and the way she handles things. The sibling might be blinded to this stuff, but we see that she only did that because she was getting backlash for it. So I hope that they all work out their issues. It sounds like they need to do some family counseling, but that's not my business, and we're not going to get too far into that. But I do want to know what you guys think about this, because as interesting as it is, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes, and as always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. We're going to need some positivity turtles in the chat, and I just want to say, happy Wednesday. I'm really proud of this consistent schedule. I'm proud of you guys for helping out with the fundraiser. If you want to help me out with the fundraiser, we're almost about to it. I think we're like 75% of the way. It'll be to the right of me on desktop, below me on mobile. And if your YouTube channel is already connected to it, then you just got to press donate. And $1 is all I ask people to do. If you want to do more, that's completely up to you. Because Rep Squad is the best squad. If there are any other topics that you guys want to hear me talk about, let me know in the comment section below. I want to know what you guys are interested in hearing about. If you want to become a patron and support what I do here on this channel, and get your name at the end of my video, then the Patreon link will be in the pinned comment. That's where I put all my sources for my videos. Always look to the pinned comment. I also want to thank you guys for 15,000 Instagram followers. Now I guess we're going to shoot for 20,000. I'm going to upload a new picture at least this week. So if you want to be involved in that and talk to me in the comments or hit me in the DMs, because DMs are open, just give me a little bit of time to get back to you, then that will also be in the pinned comment. And it's just another way to show that you're repping. If you're not repping, you're Greg. And how you do that? Go to subscribe, notifications turned on, be in the comment section of every single video, because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well. And I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I would like to get 2,000 by my birthday, June 12th. Maybe we can do it. That's right, Greg.